Buffalo, I'm sorry, Baltimore Ravens. I keep saying the Buffalo Ravens. Baltimore Ravens fan reaction. So y'all know What She Said podcast was live, right? We did a live stream with faithful supporters, and we had a good time watching the game. And just like a lot of other people, the end result was disappointing is not the word. It was a head scratcher. It had people questioning the loyalty of one of the players. And immediately afterwards, the media put out stories, the digital print media, digital media that basically said that Mark Andrews, number 89 for the Ravens, was catching all kind of flack from social media. So social media is in the consensus. If you read the comments, that Mark Andrews' play was questionable in terms of why it is so many opportunities was missed by one person at crucial moments. So some people said that he was having a brutal night. That's what they said on digital media. He was having a brutal night. I'm like, that's being polite, because that's digital mass media. But when you go to social media, one person said the Buffalo Bills should send him a gift basket because he essentially gift wrapped the game and gave it to them. Some people said he was paid $14 million and that the Buffalo Bills should request a refund. I'm some people. I said that. Let's read some of these comments in here. Social media is not happy. There's an entire thread, number 3 trending on Threads, called Mark Andrews. And it was Miss Bix that said, the Bills need to send Mark Andrews a gift basket. And 1.3 thousand people liked it, and 142 people shared it. 52 retweeted it, or rethreaded, however you want to say it, reposted it. And then there were 226 comments. It says John Harbaugh was asked what he would say to Mark Andrews after his dropped 2-point conversion in the Ravens loss to the Bills. And, that's the coach. Now, some people blame the coach. Some people said it's the coach's fault because they have the best running back in the NFL in Derrick Henry, and they chose not to run it in. But I understood why they didn't run it in. I just didn't understand why they kept trying to get 87 to get it together, 89 to get it together. I said that on my live. You can hear me repeating it. Don't throw the ball to number 89. I said it I don't know how many times, and if I said it, then I know the coach should have known it. So the coach is catching some questionable comments as well, but none other than number 89. And let's see what the comments were on that comment. It said, awful question. What if another player didn't drop the ball? It happens. Next time he'll catch it. So that's some people that support him. By some, I mean 6. I want to ask him, why would he throw when you only need 3 yards and you have a Pro Bowl fullback, Pickard, blocking for the best and biggest running backs in the NFL, Derrick Henry? It's actually the worst play call of the entire game. They scored a touchdown on the exact play they should have called on a 2-point conversion. So 5 people liked that comment. 5 people said that they thought that the coach was wrong. Let's see. At least this year, there wasn't a questionable coaching issue. Harbaugh is happy that someone else could be blamed. But is that really true? Because you have to ask the question. There were 3 crucial plays by number 89 throughout the game. And I started watching in the second half. So that means that there were 3 crucial plays in the second half alone. There were 2 before the dropped 2-point conversion for the second time. So it is questionable. The coaching call is, in fact, a big question mark. If you were going to execute that play a second time, why didn't you throw it to someone else? In fact, after his second crucial play that was not able to hold on to the ball, They put someone else in. It was either number 13 or number 16. And they got it done. They didn't drop any balls. But then when it came to the last 2-point conversion, they didn't throw to that person. They threw again to number 89. See, this is where sports gets political. I don't care what y'all say. This was political because it's political in terms of who to throw to, right? If you give somebody the opportunity and they keep messing it up, how many times are you going to give them not just an opportunity, a game-changing opportunity? So the question is, somebody's asking in the chat, welcome Regina, welcome back. It said, did the coach call the plays? I don't know. Some people are questioning, did the coach call the play? Some people said it's the coach's fault. Y'all know I said it was whoever called the play's fault. Assuming it is the coach, I just don't understand why you would go back to somebody that was having a brutal night. Like, at what point do you move away from that? And they did move away from it, but then they went right back to it. So quarterbacks can call audibles. I don't know if Lamar Jackson called it. I don't know if the coach called it. All I know is I said it. Don't throw the ball to 89. And if I'm an observer, if I'm a bystander, if I'm a fan, and I can see this, then how is it whoever made that decision couldn't see it? And even the media said it. He was having a brutal night. So why you keep trying to get him to get it when he didn't get it before? So that's the problem. So there is a consensus on he didn't have anybody to throw to. That was an issue. I think if Odell Beckham Jr. played for them for like a year, I think they have brought him in and try to remedy that situation. So essentially this year, they felt like because they had Derrick Henry that Lamar didn't have to do it all, right? So it is very disconcerting to see when they get Derrick Henry in. They use that option, but you saw what happened in the first quarter. He was limited. It's obvious the weather played a part. But then, again, Baltimore did what needed to be done. They went back. They made the adjustments in the second half. Derrick Henry was able to be more effective, but it still was an issue. And you could see that Baltimore had an answer for every question and every strategy that was being posed. And it's just obvious that Buffalo could actually play better in that type of weather. So the disconcerting part is everybody did what needed to be done. The front office, in terms of bringing in Derrick Henry so everything is not on Lamar Jackson, getting other receivers in that did well last night. But to me, the part that wasn't taken care of is a big question mark. You can see the media is saying this guy is having a brutal night because the last 2-point conversion drop wasn't the only problem. This young man had 3 crucial, not just regular plays. We're talking game-changing plays, 3 of them in the second half alone. It's like he came out the locker room and was totally ineffective. The first one, I went back and watched it. I was even saying on my live, what's going on with number 89? I called out his name. Why is it it's like he didn't even try to catch the ball. I was trying to see was somebody holding on to his shoelaces, or I even said it on live. Is his feet stuck to the floor because he didn't even try. But then that was one. Then we do it again. The second time he can't hold on to the ball. And then again at this crucial opportunity. And that to me, that's the question mark. Because again, you see the organization as a whole trying to do everything. They know Lamar Jackson is a star. You could see it. Lamar Jackson kept his team in that game. On the live, we were saying they only need 8 points. I was like, they can get it. They can get the 8 points. And they could have got it. But they threw to the wrong person. So the question is, should the Baltimore Ravens move on from number 89, Mark Andrews? Because the internet is like, okay, this is not right. This is not just somebody who had one bad situation. This man was having a brutal night. You want to blame it on the weather. You want to blame it on intent. The point is, it was out there. You could see that there was a problem. And I'm like, maybe it's just too cold. I don't know. Maybe could have put on some sleeves. Whatever it was, the problem that Mark Andrews was having, be it the weather or intent, was not remedied. Nobody addressed it. They just kept trying to keep him engaged in the game. And to me, that's where politics comes in. Because before that 2-point drive, between Mark Andrews' second mistake, I hate to use that word, second situation, that's what it is. And the third one, they had switched to another receiver on the right side. He had no problems catching the ball. And they still went back to Mark Andrews, and he did exactly what he did before. That's a huge question mark right there. That all Mark Andrews had to do was fall backwards. That's all. He knew where he was. You knew exactly where you are. You understand the context when you play this game. All he had to do was just fall backwards. And people are like, oh, that was a hard play. No, they want to blame the coach because they're like, they could have got 2 points for Derrick Henry. Well, if you had watched the game, Derrick Henry was clearly limited. The first half, he was limited to 21 points, 21 rushing yards. The second one was like 58 at some point. So I understood why they threw the ball. But it's who they chose to throw the ball to, considering there had already been 2 incidents that were crucial that Mark Andrews couldn't deliver on. So whoever they put in between incident 2 and incident 3, which is the 2-point conversion is 3, why didn't that young man get back in the game? Politics. Politics. You keep trying to make somebody be effective, and they have clearly shown you twice before that they aren't, and you go to them a third time when you had somebody in between opportunity 2 and 3 who actually delivered for you, but you went away from that person. That's what happened to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions kept trying to force Jared Goff to deliver when he couldn't. He was under too much pressure. And by the third interception, Jared Goff, you could tell that's why he made the other interception. He trying to force it. That's what happened. That's what happened to Detroit. That's what happened to Baltimore. Except for with Detroit, they kept trying. They should have took Jared Goff out, put Teddy Bridgewater back in. Politics. That's why they're at home right now. And now you have number 89, who's essentially the Jared Goff in the situation, trying to make something happen when I can't at a crucial moment, just like Detroit didn't put Teddy Bridgewater back in. Whoever it was that were catching those balls without any issue, who they should have given the ball to in the crucial moment. The Washington Commanders, it became very obvious that they could depend on number 86, veteran leadership, to score. It was almost predictable, but there was an opportunity that he couldn't get it done. They went away from him. They put somebody else in. They made the change. You have to do that. It doesn't always work. And when the media can say somebody's having a brutal night, that means that you had the opportunity to go away from 89, put somebody else in, stick with it, or change the play. Or just change the play. But trying something that already didn't work twice is the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over and it don't work. That's the definition of insanity. So social media is right to be upset. Even regular digital media can see that it was something going on there. But the situation, his ineffectiveness was not remedied. So some people say he owed the team a refund. We know that's not going to happen. But the point is, what are they going to do for next year? Because one thing we know about it, Lamar Jackson can keep this team engaged. Even when it looks like the odds are against them, he can keep this team engaged. Shout out to Baltimore's defense. Baltimore's defense did exactly what I said they should do. We were talking about how our favorite team, the Colorado Buffaloes, when it comes to being in the red zone and they're on the defense, we watch them do what they need to do to make sure the other team can't score. So Buffalo wanted 7 points. They got limited to a field goal. That meant they were still in it. Lamar Jackson recognized that. He did what needed to be done. They got the score, and what happened? Whoever decided that 89, even though he was ineffective, let me give him another opportunity, that's why he went home. Whose ever decision that was, I don't care who it was. If you want to say it wasn't the coach, then whose was it? And to me, that's where the politics comes in. Because if you wanted to truly win, if Baltimore wanted to truly win, You knew 89 wasn't having a good night, but you refused to put somebody else in who could deliver. Number 89 sold out. That's what people are saying. That's why I say people are questioning his intent. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. If I'm number 89 and I know I'm not having a good night, I get it. You probably don't want to tell your coach, you know what, you know what, let's just go ahead and do what's best for the team. But to me, to actually have the ball, I could see if the ball was overthrown, underthrown, if he had to dive for it, it was a target. It was like a dart right there in the middle, and you couldn't hold on to it twice in one night at crucial opportunities. The question is, what does Baltimore do next year? What does Baltimore do next year? Does 89 stay the go-to guy? Because, oh, Lord, I don't know how. To me, Baltimore has a decision to make. You had one thing stopping you, and it wasn't the weather. It wasn't the weather, because everybody else could catch the ball. Everybody else could hold on to the ball. And this only happened in the second half. That's what's crazy about it. I started watching in the second half of the game. All of these lost opportunities happening in one half. Thank God I didn't see the first half. Let's see. That shout out to Herman. Shout out to you. Welcome. Commanders owned the DMV. Yeah, I guess they do. Oh yeah, because Baltimore's right there. Man, I'm telling you, that would have been lovely to see. But guess we ain't gonna see it now. So instead of the Ravens versus the Chiefs, we have the Bills versus the Chiefs. If y'all want to drop your predictions, go right ahead. But as someone who watched that game, who watched the second half and saw 3 opportunities, crucial opportunities by one person, and when he went to sit on the bench, he didn't even look dejected. That's what got me. He went sit on the bench like, all right. I'm like, bro, for real? Like, it's like, I was like, maybe he asked for a raise and they told him no, and he's a disgruntled employee. Because that's the way number 89 played. He played like he was upset with the organization. He didn't play like he want to get to the next level. Someone hurry up and what? Give Lamar his 3rd MVP. Now, Lamar Jackson did a good job tonight. He did. The whole team, as an organization on the field, had to adjust at half. And they did what needed to be done. But in the first half, I feel like, I know it snows in Baltimore, but Buffalo is an entirely different scenario. And you could see that the quarterback for Josh Allen, I think, you could see him making tiny steps to turn his frame so he doesn't slip on the ice, because he's used to that. He's used to that. I don't know the arena that Baltimore plays in. It might be open, it might be closed, it might not be, as cold. It might have a little humidity in there with their snow, their inclement weather. But the weather clearly played a part in the first half. If Baltimore wasn't good, they wouldn't have been able to stay in the game the way they did. Ocho, what? Ocho has a saying. I could have caught that eating. What? Wait. I could have caught that. Oh, shit. I could have caught that skiing. Oh, I could have caught that sitting on the commode. Okay. Oh, that's what Ocho. I mean, honestly, if you think about the game, how many people really had drop passes? How many other receivers really and truly had drop passes? That's the question to ask yourself. How many receivers had multiple drop passes after you ask that question? I would, hold on, let me turn my, it says, I would expect the call to keep getting 89 Off. Oh God. Dropping crucial. Yep, crucial passes. Yep. That was crucial passes. It says AJ Brown dropped two crucial passes today. You can't blame the man for his loss. Actually, yes, you can. Yes, you can. I blame him and whoever kept putting him back in the game. If the media can say he had a brutal game, BRUTAL, that meant they recognized that he had some inefficiencies taken. Why will you keep putting him in? Politics. Same thing with Detroit. You don't think Detroit saw Jared Goff struggling? Yeah, it's obvious Jared Goff was struggling. They put in Teddy Bridgewater. They got the momentum. And what did they do? Took Teddy Bridgewater out, Jared Goff in, and they're with the game. He just wasn't having a good game. And sometimes I don't understand the mental behind, I already have 2 interceptions, so let me leave him in so we can get 3. And that's what happened. You like, let me leave him in, he'll get better. No, it depends on the scenario. No, that you take a person, it's like to me, when Detroit put Teddy Bridgewater in just for that second, it's enough to maybe for Jared Goff to kind of settle in. But it was really like, for one, I don't even know if it was a whole drive. But tonight, number 89 had proven in a very short amount of time. Remember, I only watched the second half of the game. I watched right before they went to halftime, and I came back. In that one play, I was like, you could hear me saying, is he not going to even try to get the ball? He played like a disgruntled employee. You know how it is when people know they're going to quit? They work at a company, they know they're going to leave, and they just disgruntled until their last day. That's how he played. But Baltimore has a question. What do you do going forward? That's going to be your question. Let's see. Bridgewater has been coaching he was coaching this year, his high school. I didn't even realize he was still playing in the NFL until last night, because I knew Teddy Bridgewater took his high school to the state championship in his first year as a head coach. So he should definitely be on the Saints' future coaching list, I think, since he played for them. So he handed the ball off on a trick play. Oh yeah, Bridgewater. That's right. It was a trick play that involved 3 people, I think. It was good though. It still was good. And to me, maybe, they should have went back to that when they saw Goff struggling, but they didn't. I just feel like it's politics when they do that. What does it say? Herman, let's see, it says, had the Ravens won, 4 black quarterbacks would have been at the conference championships and 2 guaranteed to play in the Super Bowl. Let me think about that. If the Ravens won, it would have been the Ravens and the Chiefs. Oh, Pat Mahomes. Okay, Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Ooh, yeah, it would have. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that. Okay. Now, I wonder, since it was always so difficult for black quarterbacks, they gave them, NFL gave black quarterbacks a really hard time, right? Even if you go watch Evolution of the Black Quarterback, it goes back to way before Warren Moon. It even talks about Doug Williams, it talks about James Harris, I think he was a quarterback for the Rams or something like that. So if you were alive at that time, or you grew up around, sport fans, like dedicated sports fans, you could hear them talk. And it's a known fact, that they used to try to discount black quarterbacks. So you kind of have to ask yourself, were there people who didn't want to see C.J. Stroud, Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, all vying for 2 spots in the Super Bowl? I think the NFL draft this year, I think will be the first year that black quarterbacks dominate. I think this is the year with Shador, Cam Ward. I don't even know who else is in addition to Shador and Cam Ward. But I do think that you have to look at how unfairly and how many obstacles were put in black quarterbacks' way to ask, are there people out there willing to sacrifice a team to ensure that all the quarterbacks aren't black, or the majority of the quarterbacks aren't black? You have to ask yourself that, because it will be foolish to sit and think, okay, well, now the league has majority black quarterbacks, everybody good with it. No, everybody is not. Everybody is not. I have asked myself if that's why Justin Fields was treated the way he was. Look how quickly people were to trash Justin Fields in Chicago. He goes to Pittsburgh, and Chicago got the same problem, right? Then look at how Russell Wilson was treated in Denver, right? Russell Wilson, look at how he was treated versus how Bo Nix is treated. And then you look at how Bo Nix was allowed to start, but Michael Penix Jr. was benched. And I'm like, Michael Penix Jr. was the most NFL ready quarterback. And some people say that might be the organization. I'm like, but the NFL is not. It's one organization. And to me, it should be fairness across the board, right? And then I look at Bryce Young in Carolina, how he had been sacked like 52, 62 times in one season. And this young man was a Heisman winner who was a dual threat quarterback, right? And what y'all have to understand is that's how black quarterbacks begin to grow and increase in numbers, because of their talent to be the Michael Vick, the Lamar Jackson, right? What pick was Lamar Jackson when he was drafted? Dead ass last. First round, I think he was dead last. Look at Lamar Jackson. When I tell you he balled out tonight, we talked about that on the podcast. That young man is good. And he needs to be at an organization that does everything it can to win. And when you keep putting somebody in, like number 89, over and over and over, and he's showing you that I'm not getting this done, and you go to somebody else and it works, and you still go back to number 89, are you really doing everything you can to win? Are you? So Baltimore has a decision to make. Because I know, I'm not Lamar Jackson, don't know him or whatever, but I know, when you work with people on group projects, because this is essentially a group project. When you work with people on group projects and they keep failing and not delivering on time, and y'all keep getting in trouble over and over and over, I'm like, look here, you're going to have to get out the group. That's just how it got to go. You got to go, because you have shown that you can't deliver. And in order for you to be able to get the opportunity to deliver, we're going to have to trust you. And trust is earned. And we can't just give you that trust right now to just keep going forward with you. We're going to have to move you out the way and bring somebody else to the forefront so we can let somebody we know that can deliver at crucial opportunities do so. And that's what Baltimore is going to have to do. You can't just say, you know what, let's clean out our locker room. We're going to go home. We're going to get over this and come back in the first snap of the game, we see Lamar Jackson throwing the number 89. It ain't happening, bro. It can't happen, because the morale of the team is going to suffer. If you want people to take you seriously, then you have to make serious decisions. So yeah, Herm, you right about that. Trust me, that crossed my mind. Bridgewater was not going to come in and light it up. The play that he did do, it was good. It was a trick play, but it worked. What you don't understand is when somebody's struggling, if you take that person out for a moment and you put somebody in, you're doing two things. You're keeping the momentum going with Teddy Bridgewater. And it worked. It worked because you went back to Jared Goff and it didn't work. Politics. You saying Teddy Bridgewater wasn't going to light it up, but he was effective. I don't care if he was effective at handing the ball off. He didn't throw 3 interceptions. Politics. Josh Allen, a beast. Josh Allen is good. I will take nothing away from Josh Allen, but Baltimore had that game. They had that game, and somebody's motivations are questionable. You have to question it. I sat up here and I wondered, I'm like, how easy is it to throw an NFL game? People talk about basketball, point shaving, right? I'm like, how easy is it to throw an NFL game? If I play for a team and I'm a go-to guy and I keep messing up, then chances are I'm going to impact either the win or the loss or the score. Sometimes you just have to ask hard questions. You can't just assume, oh, it was the weather. The weather negatively affected everybody, and they still got their job done. And that's what was so painful about seeing the Baltimore Ravens. You could see them working together as a unit, and you could see one person consistently not delivering, and you could see them not going away from it at crucial moments. So ask the question, how badly did you really want to win if you noticed the problem and you didn't try to remedy it so that you could put yourself in a position to win? Going back to the same person who had caused you two crucial opportunities that actually delivered points to the other team, and you didn't remedy that situation, how badly did the Baltimore Ravens overall want to win that game? Buffalo winning, Josh Allen is the real MVP. Lamar Foles, I thought Lamar did a good job. You can say what you want to say, but for a quarterback to keep his team into the game after one person is consistently failing, and when that young man kept messing up, did you see his face when he went to the bench? Sorry. It was like sorry, not sorry. He looked like he played like a disgruntled employee. And I'm sure it happens. Maybe he's unhappy about something, but he didn't play like he wanted to get to the next level. Pat Mahomes, not fully black. Pat Mahomes is black. I don't care if he 2% black, if he 55% black, even if he doesn't acknowledge his blackness, he's still black. Because if he was broke and out here on the street like everybody else, walking around and going, to the mall, and they thought he was up to something, they would treat him like he was. Whether he acknowledges he's black or not, Pat Mahomes is black. And when people try to distance themselves from their blackness, eventually there's a consequence to pay for it. Same thing for Marcus Patterson, Notre Dame coach. That man is a leader of men, black men. And he chose to distance himself away from his blackness. Eventually, there will be a consequence to pay for that. Mark my words. So, yeah, Pat Mahomes is black. It said, let's see. James Harris was the QB for somebody. I think it was like, let me look. I have to look it up. Let me look. I think I watched, I don't know why I thought it was like the Rams way back in the day. But go watch Michael Vick's Evolution of a Black Quarterback. They talk about him first. I think that's his name. Yeah. Lamar wasn't Lamar. No. The entire team looked like they had to make adjustments in the game. And you can't put this on Lamar. Because even if Lamar was perfect first half and second half, he didn't have three crucial opportunities where he either one, didn't try to catch the ball, or two, caught it and let it go. Notice I didn't say now hold on to it. It's not 1950. Yeah, we know it's not 1950. We can tell. Some people say it was rigged. No, you just gotta question some people's motivations. But the point of this was there are actual NFL fans. There are actual people that said that they feel like the refs helped out the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's already been a response to that. If you go read like digital media, I think it was the controversial referee that's in question, the one that keeps supposedly helping out the Kansas City Chiefs. It's being called out publicly. In other words, this is not a conversation that's being had online. Now the media is starting to pick up on the story and report on it, and they're saying it's a response. Just like what happened with number 89 tonight. The media has already, right after the game, the media put out a story and they collected responses, and it said social media is going in on Mark Andrews, number 89, because of his abysmal performance in tonight's game. But if you look at his face when he went to sit on the bench, he was like, sorry, not sorry. No remorse. So, essentially what you have to do at a Ravens fans, y'all have to ask for accountability. Y'all have to ask the organization, look, Okay, y'all have we have put all of this in place so this team could be successful. So what is going to be the change for next year to make sure we can get to the next level? That's the real question that Ravens fans have to ask. I don't know. So people do love Lamar. People wanted to see. I mean, people like Josh Allen. They like Lamar. They like each other. But the question is, it looks like they were having a fair shot, and there just seemed to be one person that wasn't on the same page, and he couldn't have been the only person on the same page because somebody kept choosing to put him in the game when he was already rendered ineffective. It's funny how the media, right as the game was wrapping up, the media went right to him. They put the camera right in their face and they showed the issues he had. So the media is well aware of what took place. And by media, I meant cameraman, announcers, and everybody that watched that game tonight. Detroit legend. Who's the Detroit legend? Goff? Is that what you mean? Everybody loves Lamar. So yeah, it is what it is. Penix was benched because at the what? Because they paid Cousins too much money. Politics. So, Steph, that's what we're talking about. The politics of the NFL, the politics of sports. Penix is benched because somebody decided to draft Cousins. And now the question is, what do the Atlanta Falcons do next year? Is this going to be a problem? I mean, are they going to be comfortable starting Penix? Are they going to put him under the microscope if he makes one first mistake? Then they're going to switch back to Cousins. This year was clearly factored in by politics. Having Michael Penix Jr. sit on a bench while your team slides into the dirt when you could have started with Michael Penix Jr. And people said, oh, he can learn from a veteran. I'm like, Bo Nix didn't have to learn from a veteran. But they let Bo Nix struggle and he got it just fine. So it's the politics of one of our favorite sports. And it's politics in all sports. But that's what happened tonight. It wasn't just that somebody had 3 crucial opportunities and didn't deliver. It's this that you could have not put 89 in the game after the second crucial opportunity was missed. But you did. And why? Probably because of politics. The same reason Michael Penix Jr. was sitting on a bench when he should have been playing. The same reason Teddy Bridgewater probably should have been in the game when Jared Goff should have came out. The politics. Politics is at play here. Remember, they want Lamar to switch positions before the draft. They wanted him to be a wide receiver. And he told them no. He was a quarterback. And good for him, because there were a lot of good black quarterbacks that were switched off. Whether it was, sometimes it happened when they got to college. If they wanted to play quarterback in college, they got switched from a quarterback to a wide receiver. And that's the era that I'm talking about. It's like, okay, the National Football League has been in an era for a long time where it didn't appreciate or respect the talents of the black athlete because the quarterback was looked at as, it is, the head of the team. So we're now at the end of that era. Like I said, this will be the first opportunity. This will be the first year the NFL after this draft is majority black quarterbacks. So what you would have witnessed if the Ravens had won, and somebody, Herman, pointed out, if the Ravens had won, it would be the Chiefs versus the Ravens. That's 2 black quarterbacks. We already have the Eagles versus the Commanders. That's 2 more black quarterbacks. So you would have saw 4 black quarterbacks playing, trying to compete for the Super Bowl, probably for the first time ever. So things are changing. And as things are changing, there's resistance. There are people who try to put more and more obstacles in place to slow down the growth of the numbers of black quarterbacks. There are people who try to show that these young black quarterbacks coming in, like Justin Fields, Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels need to sit behind somebody else to try to slow down the numbers of black quarterbacks leading teams. There are people who will try not to play at their optimal best to make sure maybe that CJ Stroud doesn't get into vying for the championship. So, CJ Stroud, Pat Mahomes, and I watched Pat Mahomes on Evolution of a Black Quarterback, and he struggled with referring to himself as a black man. He kept saying they, the struggle that they go through. I'm like, Pat Mahomes, you are they. You are they, sir. So whether you as a half black person, and all black people are mixed. So you need to understand that, especially the ones born right here in this country. If you watch Evolution of a Black Quarterback, you'll see him struggle with that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that Pat Mahomes is a black man. He's going to have to deal with the issues on why he chooses to distance himself from his blackness. That's a personal fight that he's going to have. Because when his children get older, he's going to have to explain. So, and kids will hold you to something. Kids will hold you to something and say, hey, Dad, I know, you don't look like Grandpa, but why is it that you don't say that you're black and Grandpa's black? That was a question he's going to have to deal with as his kids get older. So, never worry about somebody distancing themselves from their blackness. It will eventually come back and they're going to have to deal with it. Typically, there's consequences, but, that's neither here nor there. The point is, you have to ask yourself, as we get to the end of this era, where we start to see that there will be more black NFL quarterbacks starting, are there people out there not playing to their optimal best, trying to stop CJ Stroud, not playing to their optimal best, trying to stop Bryce Young, not playing to their optimal best, allowing Jalen Hurts to get sacked 7 times, CJ Stroud to be sacked 8 times, Bryce Young to be sacked 52, 62 times. Same thing with Shedeur Sanders in college. You have to ask yourself these questions. So just like the Baltimore Ravens has a decision to make, if they truly want to get to the next level, they're going to have to remove politics from the game. And just like the Baltimore Ravens has a decision to make in terms of number 89 and allowing him to have a significant impact on future games, the NFL has questions, decisions that they need to ask. They need to sit down and look and see if there are franchises that are allowing impropriety because they want to not have a black quarterback who is successful, but they got to have a black quarterback because they want that talent. But, are there people not playing to their optimal best to try to hold back a black quarterback? We're not even out of that era yet. We have 1 foot left in it. We got 1 foot on the other side. Imagine crossing a door, a threshold. We got 1 foot in our body on the other side, but our ankle and our other foot and our second leg is still stuck on the backside of that threshold. So these are things that you have to ask yourself. When you see a pattern of behavior where you have quarterbacks, black quarterbacks, their O-lines are not protected for them. They're allowed to be sacked 8 times, 7 times. That's not typical in the NFL. 62 times. And if this is not happening to anybody else, if this is not happening across, the league, then they have to ask themselves real questions. Sometimes you have to have the hard conversations. You have to ask the tough questions, and find out, are you disgruntled? Are you playing with lack of effort and not protecting the quarterback? Is there a reason? Are you having personal issues? Do you enjoy playing for this organization? Do you really enjoy playing football? Or do you have an issue with black quarterbacks being the dominant in the position of the quarterback? It's a real question. So I appreciate y'all hopping on here. Let's see. Oh, it's a lot of comments in here. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. You could see that this organization was doing what it needed to do to get where it needed to be. But there's still that small percentage where they're going to need to sit down and ask themselves, is it everybody on board with us winning? That's the question. No, Lamar Jackson did an excellent job. Nothing is perfect, but no, Lamar Jackson, you have to respect Lamar Jackson. And who was that? Star. No, that's not what I'm saying. I said Lamar Jackson did a wonderful job of keeping his team in the game. Shout out to the organization. When they went into the locker room, they really had to make some adjustments. They made the necessary adjustments, and Lamar Jackson kept that team in the game. So, no, I thought Lamar Jackson did a great job. So, yep, we know that's, well, they say that's why Penix was benched, but we don't really know. All I know is y'all need to go watch Evolution of Black Quarterback, produced by Michael Vick on Amazon. It's excellent. A lot of people might not even realize that all of the different issues that black quarterbacks had to face in this league. And it is true. This would have been the first time that there were four black quarterbacks vying for the Super Bowl. Yep, you're right about that. Ravens not used to the conditions. No, in the first half, I do think, that is G's last name. I'm gonna say your name is Jesus. They weren't in the first half, but they made adjustments in the second half. You could see that they were better with the conditions in the second half. And what I'm talking about, what took place with number 89, took place right about the second half. 3 opportunities missed, and that's too much. So yeah, just based off some of these comments, I don't realize if people know the change that's happening, if they looking at it overall or they're just watching their favorite team. But you cannot ignore that there's something happening here that is monumental change, and not everybody likes forward progress. Not everybody does. So, regular season warrior. No, Lamar Jackson is that dude. He really is. The 678. Shout out to the 678. Right. What is he mixed with, Jeff? Exactly. There you go. It's indicative. It's included. You can't deny a person's blackness just because you want them to be white. It don't work like that. I think Lamar will win one. It wouldn't surprise me if Lamar Jackson win one with another organization, though. Like I said, you can see the Ravens doing things that they need to get done. But tonight, with number 89, it was obvious he was struggling. And just like Jared Goff, they kept putting him in struggling too. And that's why I keep telling y'all, sometimes people are okay with losing. Sometimes they're like, you know what? I know we might lose, but I'm going to put Jared Goff back in. And then look at everything that's happening with the Detroit Lions today, how people are talking about the organization. I feel like that's what happened with the Ravens. It's like, okay, we know number 89 is struggling and we might lose, but we're going to put him back into. And how does that make everybody else on the team feel? I do everything that I need to do to work with the team as a unit, and you have one person that you know is struggling and you refuse to remedy the situation. That's gonna hurt morale. So he might win one at another team. CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud as a Texan, but for whatever reason, they can't get their O-line together. And to me, when it comes to, and we already know CJ Stroud is a beast. Remember, he took his team to the playoffs last year. And and didn't have a good season, and he still got his team back. And what was their problem? The O-line. How convenient. If you want to take a quarterback down, it's going to be the O-line. Nobody else going to be able to do it. That's who protects the quarterback. So you can't ignore these things. Go watch Evolution of a Black Quarterback. So let's see. Good for you. Good for you, Cam. Good for you. Good for you, Jesus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not, we're not talking about the coach, Jesus. We're not talking about the coach. It doesn't matter. Brady, what? Brady had, you talking about Tom Brady? Casey says, how you doing, Casey? Doing good, doing good, doing good. We're talking about reaction to the Ravens game. Did you watch the Ravens game? Star, no, that don't count either. So, um, acting. You said it yourself. That was the key word you used. Acting. Josh Allen is. I think Josh Allen is a good quarterback. Lamar was the best player on the Ravens tonight. I do think Lamar did an excellent job. I mean, you know, when you watch these teams play, just like when we watched the Commanders play, you could see you could see the command that Jaden Daniels had on that field, on that team, getting them in motion, getting them together. You could see it. You could just see it, you know, and you don't want to interrupt that. That's good. And Lamar Jackson had the same thing. I'm telling you, I started watching right before the second half. I was there for halftime, came back and watched to the end. And you could see that Lamar Jackson kept his team in it. And that's what a quarterback is supposed to do. They're leaders. They're supposed to, even when it looks bad, hey, no, let's stay together. We got this, you know, instill that confidence. And he did it. And as a unit overall, they did it. It was just one person. But again, that blames whoever didn't remedy that situation. Okay. Okay. So that's the gist of it. Like I said, the Ravens, they have a lot that they need to try to. It's not a lot. They have a serious decision to make. They have a serious decision to make if they truly want to win at the next level. And what people need to understand is you can't stop progress. You can't. I know this year, maybe if the Ravens had won, the Texans had won. You know, we already have an NFC championship with two black quarterbacks. Eventually, you're going to have four. Eventually, you're going to have four. Because if the Ravens had gotten there, that's exactly what you would have. So, all right. So, I'm going to read some of y'all's comments. Herman, James Harris played for the Rams. The Rams, okay? So, they don't find the refs, but find the players and coaches. It's definitely rigged. You know what? There's an article out there right now, right? I guess people are, you know, it's funny how there are people like the chatter about Kansas City being bailed out has been there all season. When they played the Atlanta Falcons, it was loud. They played somebody else, it got loud. And now it's really loud to the point that, but this happens in NCAA football too. Like, I was wondering if the ref that they called out for the helping Kansas City is one of the refs that is a ref for the Big 12. And I don't know if referees have a union. I'd have to look into it. They all know each other. I don't know what it is. But yeah, there's likely some impropriety there that needs to be looked into, not just by the NFL, but by the NCAA. But see, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be the fans to call it out. The fans are going to have to get on the NFL. Hey, we're not going to be paying $200-$300 for nosebleed seats and you allowing referees to determine the game. That's how it's going to have to go. Same thing in college sports. If when you hear the chatter initially about referees and it gets loud, and by getting loud is when the media picks up the story. And it doesn't have to be big box media like ESPN. It can be several outlets who also have reported the same thing and have basically demonstrated where there's some impropriety there. So the fact that they actually got the referee to respond to it says everything. I think at the one of the games, there was a referee that was criticized, I think, for helping the Chiefs win. And in that same referee crew, one of the refs asked Pat Mahomes for an autograph. That's not a good look. So the headline stories tonight: NFL fans are ripping Mark Andrews for his performance tonight, and then the other one is refs helping the Chiefs. Let's see. Texans react to calls on Mahomes hits. And then it says referee explains his position after latest controversial Chiefs call. So yeah, it's out there. Who wrote this story? Let's see who wrote it. Let's see. It's a publication. I can't see the name. It says Kansas City have appeared to be on the receiving end of some questionable calls this evening. So everything this season, so everything that the fans are talking about, the media is now starting to report on it. And it's going to take the fans to call out the NFL. And it's only the NFL is going to be able to go to the Chiefs and go, you know what? But see, you have to understand something. What is it about the Chiefs that the NFL would love to capitalize off of? I'll wait. Do y'all know what it is about the Chiefs where the NFL would be like, well, yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is, and welcome the Chiefs into the Super Bowl. Y'all can't figure out what it is? We'll see. Y'all got to know what it is. Number 87's relationship with Taylor Swift. That's it. When the Chiefs play, they what? I'm ready to. Okay, you must bet on the games. Are you betting on the games? It is not. You just hate for people to talk. Y'all gotta quit that. The Chiefs play for. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Who is that? Monte. I don't think it's that. I think it's what the Chiefs can bring to the table in terms of an organization and who their players date. I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm surprised Taylor Swift hasn't done the Super Bowl yet. Do y'all think she's gonna do the Super Bowl? The OC was the problem. If you give it to Henry more than 20 times, that's way 100%. Okay, so Steph, let's ask you a question. So if the OC would have given the ball to Derrick Henry, now remember, now keep this in mind. Derrick Henry in the first half had how many? 21 rushing yards. So what you're talking about, at one point he only had 58 rushing yards. That was after they went into the half, right? They went into the half and made adjustments, and he got better than 21. But it could be said that Derrick Henry didn't have the opportunity that he typically has, right? So if that's the case, you saw them go away from Derrick Henry. So what you're saying is they were screwed. That's what you're saying. Because if they didn't give it to Derrick Henry, who were they going to give the ball to? But 89 wasn't the only choice, because it's true. Derrick Henry wasn't as effective. He wasn't making mistakes. He just wasn't as effective because of the conditions and the weather. But when they went into the halftime, it got better. It got better. So they remedied that situation. And they saw that even though Buffalo still had an answer for Derrick Henry, you saw them go away from it. They went to the air game, and they should have. They just threw to the wrong person. And I don't think you put that on the OC. I think you put that on either the head coach or the receiver coach. Their first priority is the bottom line. Is that Cam? Yeah. Well, you would think their first priority is the bottom line. Yeah. I would say that. I would say that if you had to look at, hey, this is if I'm losing money, then I'm going to respond to the fans who have issues with referees. So yeah, you're right. The first priority is the bottom line. Shout out to Cam for that. He's one of the best. The best what? Best ref in the league. But he played like shit tonight. He's one of the best. Oh, best tight ends. You talking about number 89? He might be. I don't doubt he one of the best tight ends. Because I mean they kept depending on him for a reason. But the Washington Commanders depended on, I think, number 86, Ertz. But they saw he wasn't effective at one point. So what did they do? They made a change. It doesn't say that he's not a good player. It's questioning I guess the motivation. The motivation. The Ravens need to run the ball. I'm sure they do. In fact, I know they do. They have what? The number one rushing team. I'm surprised Lamar. No, Lamar wasn't blamed. You couldn't blame Lamar Jackson tonight. You really couldn't. You really, really couldn't. Yeah, in the first half. Hell, I feel like everybody in the first half had to, like I said, when they went to that locker room at the halftime and they came back, they made those necessary adjustments as a team. You could see it. They were trying to accommodate for the weather. And even though they probably knew the temperature was going to be what it was, you could see that Buffalo knew how to play in that weather a little better than the Ravens in the first half. So it just goes to say to the organization, what is it that they want? You have to decide what it is that you want. It's not. It's out, have to learn. It's best for their. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you can't. But we're talking about the NFL, so you could. It's not like. Here's the thing. You're right, Cam. You can't say that there's politics in everything. There's politics in most things. When you say that their bottom line is money, you're right. Their bottom line is money. But if money is not an issue, if I'm making money, I might have a preference in how things should be. And once that preference changes, not everybody's going to be on board with that. So you have to remember, everybody doesn't like change. And it's true. There would have been 4 black quarterbacks in both of these championship games, AFC and NFC. I mean, it is what it is, Cam. If you live life long enough, you know that's exactly what it is. Nah, I don't think so. I think that even in the comments, like you read the comments on social media, right? The Bills, they did a good job. You can't take that away from them, right? But at the same time, you can look at Buffalo and I'm sorry, you can look at Baltimore and see they were keeping up. You can't take that away from them either. They paid Cousins all of that money, so they had to start him. That's called politics. You pay somebody a lot of money. I have to start them, but they're not doing good. Take them out. Salvage the season. Put Michael Penix Jr. in. That entire scenario told you that there was politics at play there. And how many games did the Falcons have to lose before they finally put Michael Penix Jr. in to be their savior and try to salvage something that never had to be in the first place? Nah, I don't think you could say that. I don't think you could say that. Let's see. Well, let's see. Played like who are you talking about? He played like 65 college games. I don't think you and I are talking about the same politics, sweetheart. I'm like, some of y'all hear the word politics and don't even understand what people are talking about. That's so funny. Okay, Star, you don't get it, so we gonna delete you from this conversation. All right. Who isn't in shape? Teddy isn't in shape. He was a high school football coach 2 weeks ago. That don't mean he not in shape and he don't work out. And he wasn't a high school coach at any high school. He went back to his high school and he took them to the state championships and they won. And he came out and sparked the momentum for the Detroit Lions. If you bench players every game, they make mistakes, the league would have a pity party. Oh, that's funny. Well, how many mistakes do you allow one player to make? How many crucial mistakes? We're not talking regular mistakes. How many crucial mistakes do you allow a player to make before you take them out the game and put somebody else in if you want to win? Okay. Right, Cam, you should go watch Evolution of a Black Quarterback on Amazon. It's produced by Michael Vick. It's really good. A lot of people do. Trifo, whatever. A lot of people do. You must not watch NFL football or know the history of the NFL. Okay, Cam, have a good one. All right, y'all. So, Evolution of a Black Quarterback is out there, produced by Michael Vick. Go watch it. The Ravens have a decision to make on how they gonna move forward and who they gonna move forward with. And when it comes to the NFL and people questioning whether or not the Chiefs are being helped into the next level, the NFL has a question that they have some decisions they need to make too. All right, y'all. So I think that about does it. Y'all did good tonight. Y'all did really good. Like I said, it's a whole lot of comments. It's interesting to see, I guess, the difference between the comments written by print media, even though the story is the same. Number 87 is catching like a lot of flack tonight. Number 89 is catching a lot of flack for the Baltimore Ravens. But to read what they put out in digital media and then to read social media is like night and day. Night and day. So let's see if I can find one. Somebody said they bet on the game. They had a $20 bet and they were supposed to win $500. That's a lot of money. Do y'all bet on the games? Let's see. All right. Someone said, Lydio2 said, and these are the comments where somebody said the Bills need to send Mark Andrews a gift basket. And let's see what happened. Said receivers had 4 big drops tonight. The pick accounted for no points. The fumble got 7, which ended up not being that hurtful because it was in the first half. Mark had a fumble when they were driving in the second half that cost them, and this obviously cost the game. Yes, Mark did the worst in the biggest moments, and in the biggest moment, Lamar scored a touchdown the play before and threw an easily catchable pass to tie the game. So People are saying in the comments, Jada Daniels is the best rookie to do it. I'm going to go with that. Daniels is good. Somebody said regarding Mark Andrews, Lydio 2, can someone explain why he bobbled the ball when it seems he already has secured it? Let's see what the replies are. The weather played a huge role in dropped catches. It said the guy catches everything through the whole season, but does this crap at a divisional game. Anyways, everybody's Bill Mafia next week. That's what they're saying. It says, please don't let Mahomes and the Chiefs go to another Super Bowl. So the Bills got to do their thing. Somebody said, somebody paid this guy off to help the Bills win. It said, like he had the ball. Why move your hands again? So, you know, people have their thoughts. It said, that's why you play for home field advantage. Buffalo in January is slippery. I agree with that. I agree with that. Somebody said Baltimore is too. Baltimore is too. Now, some people said that even with, I guess, Baltimore tying up the game. Now, this is an interesting point. It said even with Baltimore tying up the game, it said Josh Allen and the Bills would have still had 1 minute and a half to march down and score with 2 timeouts. It said all they would need is a field goal to win. Let's see what they're saying. I'm 100% sure they would have rather had the opportunity to see what would have happened versus speculation. Oh, I agree with that. Now, that's an excellent response. That's an excellent response. Somebody went to his page and said, Mr. Andrew, you messed up, sir. I'm not going to advocate for that. It said, today also proved we didn't, meaning the Baltimore Ravens, we didn't need Andrews. We got Likely. He's shown he's good enough for the #1 tight end spot. Get rid of Andrews. Simple. You can't have that many costly mistakes in a playoff game and got the C patch on your jersey. The C patch. Oh, captain. Oh, wow. Okay. So he has the C patch on his jersey. It said, now more like Derrick Henry and Lamar. Andrews is there to make certain plays. That's it. And tonight he failed to answer the call when it came his time. That in the season play doesn't matter in the playoffs. That's true. They said all the time, when you get to the postseason, it's a different scenario. You don't talk about seasonal stuff. It says, so when the playoffs come, you actually supposed to perform, not the opposite. And that was huge. Like, and I've seen that happen in basketball happen as well. This was drop number 3 for him and the most egregious all night. I'm reading comments from people discussing Mark Andrews, the reaction from fans afterwards. Let's see. It was a good play call. He was wide open. 3 turnovers were the difference. Okay. Knowing the Mafia, they'll start fundraising for his favorite charity tonight. The Bills Mafia raising money for they said the Bills Mafia is raising money for for Andrews. Yes, I will blame Andrews because even though the game was sticky, we still were at the point where the game could have gone into OT. It didn't because he decided to juggle the ball when he already had it in his hands. So yes, I blame Andrews. I told you all he had to do was fall backwards. That's all he had to do. I feel bad for Andrews. He's one of the all-time great tight ends. It just wasn't his night. Looks like he let it go on purpose, just like when the Rams let Hurts run that touchdown when they had a clear tackle and the defender turned around to miss him. So people are saying it was rigged. That's why. So in other words, his performance was intentional because it's rigged so the Ravens wouldn't elevate. Looked like he dropped that ball on purpose. Hope he's not betting on games. That's from Be More Chase. But what the Bills Mafia will actually do is to donate to whatever nonprofit he supports because we're classy like that. Bills fans say they classy. They gonna go ahead and hype up Andrews and support to his favorite charities. That's crazy. The Bills Mafia. Tie game. 1 minute 45 seconds left. Josh Allen with the ball. That only ends one way. But that's okay. That would have been okay. That would have been perfectly fine. To my Bills Mafia, what's his charity? Somebody said, God first. Lamar Jackson did all he could. I jumped off my couch thinking that was a complete touchdown. Lamar Jackson did all he could. He could. Somebody said, Mark Andrews is getting released tomorrow. Watch. They put his picture with an open to work sign from LinkedIn. I told you, print media is polite. Digital media is polite in terms of their story. They went and got, he had a brutal night. But social media is, telling people what they really think. Somebody paid him. This was heartbreaking. I don't even know if these people are really Baltimore fans. That play will stay with him for the rest of his life. Regarding Mark Andrews, I agree. And he fumbled on a different play. I think there were 3 crucial opportunities. He caught the ball, then dropped it. Like, huh? Why wouldn't he catch that? This is supposed to be an NFL professional. How do you even drop that? I told y'all all he had to do was fall backwards. He just has to be sick. He will not sleep tonight after this. I don't know. When he went to sit on the bench, he was like, oh, it is what it is. Sorry, not sorry. He didn't have any. Normally when these guys, when it's something like that, you have seen people cry, shed some tears. You have seen them look dejected. The media went straight to him. Like, the cameraman went straight to him. And it was like, sorry, not sorry. It is what it is. I'm like, okay. Yep, he had a fumble too. Yep. No, there were 3 opportunities. He probably catches that 19 out of 20. Let's see. Somebody said you have to feel sorry for him. People like, no. LMAOOOOOO. He's gonna remember this his whole life. It could have went to overtime. Yep. So there it is. There it is. So Baltimore fans and people who watched the game who knew that Baltimore could go into overtime, and there were a lot of egregious errors. Had to get it out, and social media. I was on Threads, so social media, they gonna tell you what it is. So that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate you all coming on to the live to talk about the reaction after the Baltimore Ravens lost 25-27. So, moving on. All right. So next week we have the AFC and the NFC championship game. The question is, who you rolling with? Drop the answer in the comments. I am rolling with, I think, the Commanders. And then, so the Commanders versus the Eagles. So I think I'm thinking it's a hard decision to make, but I think I'm going to roll with the rookie, Jada Daniels. I think I'm going to roll with the Commanders. And I think I'm going to roll with, The Chiefs and the Bills. I'm probably gonna roll with the Bills. I like Josh Allen. I'm probably gonna roll with the Bills just because I don't want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So there it is. There it is. If y'all going to the Super Bowl, let me know. Drop the comment in the chat. Going to the Super Bowl. Going to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, I appreciate you hanging out, discussing fan reaction after the Baltimore Ravens lose 25-27 to the Buffalo Bills. Shout out, they played good football and they are moving on to face off against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'll see y'all next time we do a fan reaction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for watching What She Said.